Dance through Berlin.
Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Today's episode is called Love Me, Love Me Not, Thinking Dance Critic. This episode is not so much focused on me watching a dance performance, but rather about the act of watching dance and be critical about it. So last Monday, the 4th of November, at UFA Studios, I went to a Tanzschreiber event. It was really nice. What is Tanzschreiber? Transcriber, you can find it online. I would call it a platform where three writers write about performance that they go to watch, Berlin dancing, etc. So this event that I attended to last Monday, it was more like a reflection session, so it's open to everyone that wants to join and take part. And we sit around and we had a guest talk. I'll talk about it in a second. And then we had a moderator, and they were also present, the three Tanzschreibers, the three women that are writing about dance at the moment. From what I understood from that night, they change every 6 months. So if you guys have opportunity and if you are curious, go read their articles online. They are really nice. I don't always read it, but from time to time, when I'm especially curious about a certain performance, sometimes when I didn't got a chance to watch it, I go to the website and I just read about it. And actually, I intend to do this more often because the whole session last Monday was really great. It was nice to hear them talk about what they saw and why they wrote the things in a certain way. And then also at the end, we had an open discussion, which I will refer further. So I will just go a bit through it in today's blog. So, how the experience was for me and more about which questions opened up in my mind. So first, we had the pleasure to hear the guest talk via Sutin. I apologize again for the way I say names. I know that sometimes is not correct spelling, so I'm sorry for that. So as I was saying, she's at the moment the kunstlerische Leiterin vom Tanzin August, and she talked about how she started to write about dance when she was younger and how hard it was back then. In her time, as she said, writing about dance was most focused on the critic, and the critics themselves were not really educated to look to contemporary or new styles. They were more educated to look at traditional styles. So everything that was out of norm or that was experimental, it was going to suffer from a very harsh critique, which could actually stop the work and destroy it. So writing about dance at the time was what she was talking about, and then she kept talking about her experience and her career and how things develop and so forth. And because of this, I was asking myself if this just happens before. So I'm going to say in the older times, even though it's not that older like that, but let's just say not right now. Are we really open for new formats, or do we follow trends? If so, do we actually try to break them? In the blog post, I made a funny quote saying someone had to drop the point shoes. Let's shout a big hoo hoo for Isa. I was referring to Isadora Duncan, of course, and the fact that she dropped the point shoes and she started to dance barefoot. And obviously, this led to a lot of critics, but then she also revolutionized the dance as we know today. And sometimes now I feel that even with contemporary dance, experimental arts, conceptual art, performance, whatever are the things that are happening right now, we do have a tendency to follow trends, and that's alright. Things always go in a certain way. But always question when you see something that is not what you saw before. Um, question in like a more biased way, I would say, not just because it's something new. Sometimes it's good to just do something new, to break the chain and just discover. So yeah, but anyway, I'm not going to give an answer to this. Just thoughts that will pop up in my head. Also, when she talked about these people, these critics, criticizing pieces and sometimes even destroy it, so they would at the end not have any chance to perform anywhere or have any audience because the critics was so harsh. I was thinking, so what is the point actually of a critic? Is it actually a good thing? And can we actually grade art something good or bad and worth and not worthy? Um, so I think things have changed much more, meaning that nowadays dance critic is not really like, I don't know, restaurant critic where you give like a grade, but more open and more about placing questions and inquiring. So, what could go next, or what can this open up to? Also, during these nights, I learned about two new concepts which I found very helpful and that made totally sense to me. So, I talk about critic, but then I also heard about I, being the I. Maybe you guys already knew about this, and I was a bit uneducated about it, but I found it very interesting because it's just about you talking or writing about dance in this case and just really express how you felt and what you saw from your own personal experience. I believe a bit like I am doing here with this podcast. And then the other concept that we discovered, so to say, was a more poetic critical fiction. So one of the writers, she wrote a text, and I believe that the first intention was to go in the I direction, but the way that she wrote and she explained the night, it just felt like a story, and it really took us there. While in the I, you just understand the sensations, you understand what is going on, but you can't really have a full image. The other, it's more like really reading a book about it and just have the whole explanation. And there was some questioning about what is the best and optimal format, if it's critic, if it's I, if it's this poetic critical fiction, as I called it. Um, I honestly believe that it depends of the person that it's reading. It depends of the context as well. For instance, I found the critic very interesting because in the end they leave the article always very open and they place questions and then can help the people and the artists also to question the work in a different way and maybe leave space for new discoveries. The I is just a very natural and organic way to explain how one feels and experience the dance performance, a specific dance performance. And then the critical fiction, I would say it's very useful if, for instance, you missed a performance that you really wanted to watch, um, or something in this direction, and then you basically just can imagine the whole piece in your head, you know. So these were the questions that I put to myself, like, as a dancer and as an audience, what is my favorite format, or what is the format of critic that I'm looking for? But also as an artist, how I would like my work to be exposed. So would I like someone talk about it in a critique way, in an I way, in this poetic critical fiction? Anyways, as you guys know, I'm always open to opinions and to know what you guys think about this. So you can comment below and just let me know what you guys think, what is your best type of critic, and what actually do you think about critic. So to conclude this podcast, I want to talk about a moment that happened in the Dancethroughberlin event. So at some point someone placed a very pertinent question. He asked for those present who consider or present themselves as dance maker or choreographer, what is the difference? It was like this boom, this silence in the room. Everyone was just looking at each other. It was amazing. And I myself, to be honest, sorry, I was a bit lost as well with the question. I have been calling myself dance maker sometimes, and another times I call myself a choreographer. But why did I actually have a difference for me? So before I answer to this, I would like to point out that I feel that we don't question things enough. I don't want to sound super academic or artistic, whatever that means, with this affirmation, but it is true, especially when it comes about what we call ourselves, like us, like the I am. It is so strong. First, if we don't put a thought about who we are, how we represent ourselves, we are just valuing ourselves in a wrong way. And second, practice this, practicing this thought can really help us to discover some perspective about who we are and what we want to do, what we want to achieve, instead of just following the magician's flute and run with the rest of the rats. It's really important because I think in arts this unique, this just be yourself, it's very important, but we do need to question where does this come from and who am I actually representing here. So coming back to the question, I didn't answer it there in the moment because I felt that I haven't thought about it before. I didn't want to rush with an unthoughtful answer that can again misrepresent me or just come up with some nonsense. So after a few minutes of contemplation, I came up with the following. And again, this is just my point of view. When I am a dance maker, I see myself as the craftsman woman, the maker that creates tools using the research process. When I'm a choreographer, I use the existing tools to compose an art product using the creative creation process. Therefore, when I say that I am a dance maker slash choreographer, it just means the merging of the two definitions. Again, I cannot sweat this enough. I'm not here to lecture anyone. This is just my point of view. So be free to take it with you if it makes sense for you as well. And like I said, this is my answer. I really want to hear yours. How do you see yourself? Or how do you position yourself? And what makes more sense to you? There is no right or wrong, I feel. And for me, this was definition that made the most sense to make me feel comfortable as well with myself and the way I call myself, and actually made things much more clearer for me. It helped me a lot. So yeah, maybe ask yourself the same question and see what you come up with. Could be a nice exercise. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. Please be free to comment. I would love to hear from you. I wish you a beautiful time and I see you for the next episode. Ciao.